Well, we're learning more this morning about a woman allegedly murdered by her Uber driver just yards from her home.
Metro Police now tell us that Uber driver allegedly confessed to that murder. Matthew Foltz is following this story this morning with more on a crime that police are calling not only disturbing but disgusting. Good morning, Matthew.
Hey, good morning to you both. This is just a heartbreaking story all the way around. Metro Police telling us that they have arrested 29-year-old Francisco Valadez in connection to Chanti Dixon's murder. Now, officers say that they found Dixon on Sunday naked in a wooded area along Wagner Lane near East Raymond and Shervin Drive. She was found with gunshot wounds and pronounced dead at the scene.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate.
The city lights of Indianapolis were fading into the blur of a late night. For Chanti Dixon, a 30-year-old mother of two, the routine was simple. After a long shift, all she wanted was the comfort of her own bed. She pulled out her phone, tapped a few buttons on a rideshare app, and waited for a car to arrive. It's a simple act that millions of people do every day, a promise of a safe ride home. But for Chanti, this one ride would be her last. This isn't a story about a victim. It's a story about a woman who was a star in her own right. At 30, Chanti was a pillar of strength and a beacon of love for her children, a 13-year-old son and a 10-year-old daughter. As the eldest child in her family, she was a natural caregiver and a source of unwavering support. Her vibrant spirit could light up any room. Friends and family consistently describe her as generous and kind, a person who always put others first. Her cousin Eric Young still remembers the time she helped him through a difficult period, a simple act of kindness that was a testament to the beautiful person she was. Chanti juggled the demands of motherhood and her work with a quiet resilience, a woman who made a deep and lasting impact on everyone she met. Her life was a vibrant tapestry of love and determination. But on the early morning of September 8, 2024, Chanti did what we all do. She ordered a ride home from work. She got into a car, an act so routine and innocent, and stepped into a nightmare. It's a terrifying thought, isn't it? That the trust we place in a simple app could lead to such a grave tragedy. It makes you wonder, have you ever felt a sense of unease or relief during a late-night ride home? What's your story? Share it in the comments below. The clock had just ticked past 3:30 a.m. on September 8, 2024. For most of Indianapolis, the city was sleeping, but for Chanti Dixon, a new day was just beginning. Her shift was over at Sunset Strip Gentlemen's Club, where she walks as a stripper, and all that stood between her and her family was a short ride home. She ordered an Uber, and a dark car pulled up, driven by Francisco Valadez, a 29-year-old man she had never met. The transaction was a simple one, a moment so ordinary it passed without notice. It was the last time Chanti would ever be seen alive. The car pulled away, disappearing into the pre-dawn quiet, carrying Chanti into an unseen journey from which she would never return. The first hint that something was wrong came later that morning. The hours passed, and Chanti's family, used to her regular contact, grew concerned. A call went unanswered. A text message sat unread. This wasn't like Chanti, a woman who put her children and family above all else. The initial concern quickly blossomed into a frantic search. The family began calling friends and colleagues, retracing her steps, but every lead led to a dead end. By the morning of September 9th, just a day after she vanished, the family's worry had turned to dread. They officially reported her missing to the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. The frantic search was now in the hands of law enforcement. The police began their investigation by tracing Chanti's last known movements. The trail led them to the wooded area near her apartment, where her cell phone and personal belongings were found. The discovery sent a shiver of fear through her family and the community. Finding her personal effects so far from her home felt less like a clue and more like a warning. The narrative of a simple missing persons case began to shift, hinting at something far more sinister. The dense woods held their secrets, but the growing silence from Chanti herself was screaming a different story. As the police widened their search, every minute that passed felt like an eternity. The family's hope dwindled with each new lead that went nowhere. The The city held its breath, wondering what had happened to the kind-hearted mother who had simply wanted to get home. The initial concern had transformed into a collective sense of foreboding, a shared fear that a trusted service had been used to carry out something unthinkable. The silence was deafening, leaving her loved ones to wrestle with the most terrifying question a family can ask: what happened to Chanti? The unknown is a terrifying place to be. When a loved one vanishes without a trace, the mind rushes to fill the void with endless possibilities, each one more frightening than the last. Imagine that a person you love, who is just on their way home, simply disappeared. What would you do? Let us know what you think happened in the comments, and don't forget to like this video to help us reach more people. The discovery of Chanti Dixon's body, naked and face down in a wooded area on Wagner Lane, with a fatal gunshot wound to the head, sent shockwaves through the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. The find confirmed the worst fears of her family and ignited an intense homicide investigation. The immediate priority was to identify her killer, and the most crucial lead pointed directly to her last known interaction, the Uber ride she had taken just hours before her disappearance.
After her daughter's death. Tonight, she is speaking up for the first time after her daughter's body was found on Monday.
Police say an Uber driver is responsible for the crime. The victim's mother spoke with WRTV's Adam Shooms. She is urging people to remain vigilant while using rideshare services.
She was fun. She was courageous. A ball of life.
Chanti Dixon talks about her daughter Chanti in the past tense.
I keep waiting for her to walk through the door, but I know she's not gonna walk through the door.
Police say her 30-year-old daughter's body was found in a wooded area near East Raymond Street and South Sherman Drive on Monday.
For people that's out there doing stuff like that man did to my child, because you picked up a stripper at work and you thought wasn't nobody gonna care, we care. And y'all can't do that.
Detectives quickly traced Chanti's rideshare activity. The digital breadcrumbs led them directly to Francisco Valadez, a 29-year-old Uber driver. He was identified as the last person to have seen Chanti alive, the man behind the wheel of the vehicle she had trusted to take her home. The revelation that her rideshare driver was now the prime suspect cast a chilling pall over the case, escalating public anxieties about the very services people relied on daily. With Valadez identified, the police moved swiftly, bringing him in for questioning. The stage was set for a dramatic confrontation in the sterile confines of an interrogation room, where the truth of Chanti Dixon's final, horrifying moments would begin to emerge. The interrogation room is a theater of psychological warfare, a place where secrets are pried loose and carefully constructed lies are dismantled brick by agonizing brick. Francisco Valadez, seated across from seasoned detectives, initially presented an image of feigned innocence, a man caught in an unfortunate circumstance. His first attempt at an explanation was a fabrication, a desperate weave of deceit designed to deflect suspicion. He claimed that after dropping Chanti off, an armed man had suddenly appeared, robbing her and then brutally shooting her in the thigh. Valadez spun a narrative of a chaotic, external event, portraying himself as a helpless witness, a bystander to a random act of violence. But detectives are trained to spot the cracks in a facade. Valadez's story, delivered with an air of calculated detachment, immediately raised red flags. There was no corroborating evidence, no panic 911 call from Valadez, no sign of a struggle outside the vehicle, and the nature of Chanti's wound didn't match his description. The police knew they were dealing with someone who was either withholding vital information or, more likely, actively constructing a false reality. The psychological game had begun. The interrogators, calm and methodical, began to poke holes in his narrative. They revisited his timeline, pressed him on the minutiae of his account, and challenged inconsistencies. They highlighted the absence of evidence supporting his claims, forcing Valadez to confront the growing implausibility of his story. The tension in the room thickened with each probing question. Valadez, cornered by the mounting discrepancies, began to shift his story, introducing new details that only further entangled him in his web of lies. His initial composure started to fray, replaced by subtle signs of agitation, a nervous fidget, a flickering glance away from the interrogator's unwavering gaze. The detectives maintained their unyielding pressure. They cycled through various tactics, sometimes empathetic, sometimes confrontational, always keeping Valadez off balance. They presented him with the grim reality of the evidence they did have, the cold, undeniable facts that contradicted his every word. They spoke of Chanti, of her family, of the injustice of her death, subtly appealing to any shred of conscience he might possess, while simultaneously tightening the net of logical inconsistencies around him. The interrogation became a relentless mental tug-of-war, with Valadez desperately trying to maintain control of his narrative as it slipped further and further from his grasp. Each false statement chipped away at his credibility, revealing deeper layers of deception. Finally, under the crushing weight of the evidence and the relentless questioning, Francisco Valadez broke. The carefully constructed facade crumbled, revealing a chilling truth far more sinister than any random act of violence. What followed was a series of admissions that painted a horrific picture of Chanti Dixon's final moments, a betrayal of the trust inherent in a simple ride home. Valadez confessed. He admitted to shooting Chanti Dixon inside his own vehicle. The motive he offered was disturbingly petty, yet horrifying in its implications. He claimed she had insulted him, a comment that, in his twisted mind, had enraged him to the point of murder. This was not a robbery gone wrong, nor an act of self-defense as he had initially tried to claim. This was a cold-blooded act born of a perverse rage. But the horror did not end there. Court documents, based on Valadez's own disturbing admissions, revealed an even more depraved layer to his crimes. He confessed that he had attempted to sexually assault Chanti inside his vehicle before he shot her. And in a revelation that chilled investigators to their core, he then admitted to attempting to commit further sexual acts with her body after he had taken her life. This chilling detail escalated the charges against him to include sexual assault and abuse of a corpse, painting a picture of a killer who had descended into unimaginable depravity. Valadez also confessed to discarding Chanti's cell phone and personal belongings away from the scene of the crime, a desperate attempt to sever any connection between himself and the murder, to buy himself more time, to make her disappear completely. But the police, fueled by a family's desperate plea for answers, had worked tirelessly, piecing together every detail, every lead, until Valadez's dark secrets were dragged into the light. The confession was a brutal, unvarnished account of betrayal and violence, a stark reminder of the hidden dangers that can lurk beneath the surface of everyday life. It confirmed the police's suspicions and provided a horrific clarity to Chanti Dixon's disappearance, transforming a missing persons case into a harrowing tale of murder at the hands of someone she had simply paid to take her home. The truth was out, but the path to justice for Chanti Dixon had only just begun.
Valadez told police he initially attempted to have sex with Dixon in the back of his car, but he got angry with her. He later admitted to police he shot her in the head in his car, then hid Dixon's body behind the concrete barrier. He also said he tried to have sex with her again. Dixon was found naked with a sweatshirt pulled over her head and arms, lying on her stomach.
This is just disgusting all around, and it did not have to happen. This is a family that's been ripped apart. This woman is gone from the world unnecessarily.
As a woman, this hits differently for me. Women, girls, mothers, they have a right to exist freely in our community without fear of something heinous happening to them. They have a right to walk, bike, order a ride share without fearing something bad will happen to them.
Friends say this video of Dixon seen on the right shows how happy she was. They didn't want to talk on camera, but one of her neighbors did.
Because we all pretty much, we look out for each other here. And for that to happen is sad, and for it to be a ride share, that's really sad. You're not even safe getting a ride home.
Neighbors tell me they've seen Dixon moving into this apartment. They've seen her with her kids and her dog.
Horrific. Horrific. That didn't even, it doesn't even make sense. The girl, she just moved here. She ain't even been here a week.
Uber said they have banned Valadez from the app and will continue to assist Indianapolis police in this case. Police also stress that when taking a rideshare, there are options to share your real-time location with people you know.
If something doesn't feel right to you during your ride, you can ask the person to pull over and you can get out.
With Francisco Valadez's confession secured, the focus of the case shifted from the police station to the courtroom. On September 16, 2024, Valadez made his first formal appearance, charged with felony murder, sexual assault, and abuse of a corpse. The charges were a direct reflection of his chilling admissions, laying bare the full scope of his depravity. The air in the courtroom was thick with anticipation and sorrow as the legal process for Chanti Dixon's justice began. To the surprise of no one, Valadez entered a plea of not guilty, a move that immediately set the stage for a prolonged and emotional legal battle. He was held without bond, a necessary measure given the heinous nature of his alleged crimes, ensuring he would remain in custody as the case moved forward. The court proceedings became a public spectacle, drawing widespread media attention from outlets like ABC News, Court TV, and Yahoo News. The details of the crime, as revealed by the prosecution, were so disturbing that they resonated far beyond Indianapolis. The legal documents released to the public provided a harrowing account of what transpired in Valadez's vehicle, and the prosecution didn't shy away from presenting the unvarnished truth. They detailed Valadez's multiple conflicting stories, a tangled web of lies he wove in his initial interrogations, at first claiming an armed man shot Chanti, then finally breaking down and admitting to the murder himself. This narrative of deceit and eventual confession served as a powerful opening for the prosecution's case. The prosecution then presented the most shocking and unsettling details from Valadez's confession. According to court documents, he admitted that he shot Chanti in the head after she allegedly insulted him, a claim so insignificant and monstrous in its consequence that it defied comprehension. This detail served to underscore the terrifying randomness of the violence, and the prosecution used it to demonstrate the sheer malice behind his actions. But as horrific as that was, it was not the end of the revelations. The court documents also disclose Valadez's confession to dragging Chanti's body into the woods and, in a final act of utter depravity, attempting to commit further sexual acts with her corpse. This was the moment the full gravity of his crimes settled on the community and anyone following the case. It was a detail so brutal it cemented the public's outrage and highlighted the monstrous evil that had been hiding behind the face of a routine rideshare driver. The public outcry was immense. The case transcended a typical murder investigation and became a symbol of the grave dangers women face, even in seemingly safe, everyday situations. The involvement of a rideshare company, a service built on trust, underscored a new kind of vulnerability in the gig economy. The tragedy of Chanti Dixon's death was no longer just a local crime story, it was a nationwide alarm bell. Police officials, including Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Assistant Chief Catherine Cummings, spoke out about the tragedy, emphasizing the fundamental right of women to move freely and safely in their communities without fear. This statement was a sobering reminder that Chanti's death was more than just a crime. It was a devastating violation of a basic human right. The legal process for Francisco Valadez is still ongoing, with trial dates pending and the possibility of further charges being filed, but the pursuit of justice for Chanti Dixon and her family has become a powerful movement. Chanti Dixon's story is a heartbreaking reminder that evil can surface in the most unexpected places. Her life was tragically cut short, but her legacy endures not as a victim, but as the loving mother and kind-hearted person she was. Her children, her family, and her community continue to honor her memory, turning their grief into a powerful call for a safer world. This case exposed the dangers that can lurk in the most ordinary of places and sparked an urgent conversation about rideshare safety and community vigilance. Her memory serves as a powerful testament to the need for societal and systemic change so that no one else has to endure a fate like hers. This is the story of Chanti Dixon. Her life was tragically cut short, and her case has exposed the dangers that lurk in the most ordinary of places. The legal battle for justice is ongoing. To honor her memory and support her family, we need to bring attention to this story. Share this video, and if you haven't already, subscribe to Crime Scene Exposed for more untold stories.